countess. Who?
I'm literally miserable.
We're not friends.
Friends.
Joggers. Excuse me, joggers.
Who said that? Who said that?
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Real Housewives Edit. My name is Elle and I am here to talk about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. On this channel, I talk about how editing can give us more clues into our wonderful, beloved ladies. Today, I'm going to be discussing the scene where it's Garcelle's 55th birthday. Can you even believe she's 55? Amazing. Specifically, the scene where Sutton and Diana sit down and have sort of like a confrontation. So let's get started.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm DJ, congratulations. Happy birthday, Garcelle.
Hey, you know what? Hey, do you want to talk for a second?
Okay, let's start with this moment where they cut to Erika ordering some spicy margaritas. She's ordering two. I think maybe the implication is that both of the margaritas are for her. From an editing perspective, they're showing all sorts of moments from the party, right? Like right before that, Kyle is doing the splits and her and Dorit are having some drunken fun on the couch. Rob and Crystal like hugging each other, and then you see Erika at the bar. When you're editing, you are storytelling even in the moments where there's no dialogue going on. By juxtaposing this moment of Erika, who is alone at the bar, ordering two drinks, presumably maybe for herself, although it could be for someone else, against these other sort of like happy and loving moments, the editors are telling a story about Erika, not just about the drinking, but also showing maybe some loneliness, the look that she has on her face as she's ordering those drinks and standing there at that bar. She just seems like kind of in a lonely place, and you can just kind of see it in her eyes right there. It definitely has a purpose, and that is to show some storytelling. If storytelling was all about just what people are saying and kind of what's happening, movies would first of all be a million hours long, and also we'd be just hearing about it as opposed to feeling it. In this moment right here, we're getting some character development on Erika and where she's at in her life right now, except she doesn't have to say to a friend, oh, I'm not feeling, that great about my life right now, or I'm lonely or anything like that. All we have to do is kind of see this moment, and that's what the editors did brilliantly to build some character and kind of give us some insight into what's going on with her.
I just wanted to talk to you first, check on you,
I'm good.
see how you're doing.
Yeah, I'm good.
Because you were on bed rest.
I still am, but it's all good.
So you're on bed rest, but you're here.
Yeah.
So that's confusing. You're gonna have to clear it up.
That I should be in bed and I'm here?
Yeah.
Okay, so that sigh that Diana does, that I can definitely understand and feel that sentiment hardcore, because it's kind of how I felt watching that scene. I have nothing against Sutton. Actually, I've loved Sutton long before anyone loved Sutton. I was like, she is a great addition to the Housewives, even when everyone was like, she's annoying. Some of her first season, I think people were, on the internet were saying things, and I was like, no, she's got stuff under the hood. I love it for the show. So first of all, you can see there's three angles, which I'm assuming there's three camera people. Have the two shot of them sitting with the two, so that's one camera. You've got whoever's on Diana's angle, and then you have Sutton's angle. So that's three people with large cameras looming over this conversation, right? So that's just one note to point out as this is going on. The thing that I'll say, I don't even know if this is from an editorial standpoint, but just on a Sutton standpoint, she starts the conversation like I'm here to check on you. And then it switches into this mode that she tends to occupy that I think is what rubs people the wrong way. It comes off so judgmental and so condescending. There's a couple other condescending moments that I can just think off the top of my head.
If it's over, you have to stop talking about it.
I'm not talking about it anymore.
You make up lies about your friends behind their backs. You need to stop it.
In this moment right here, she starts out saying, I want to check on you. And then she goes, okay, and then you're here, but you're supposed to be on bed rest. And Diana's just like, yeah. She's like, and so you need to explain that to her, explain it. That's like the type of thing that I say to my 5-year-old. To a child, it's different because you're teaching them something, but to an adult, it feels, oh my gosh, I can imagine it can feel so infuriating. Anyway, let's move on.
She obviously thinks very highly of herself. She feels like I owe her something. Do you want to see my doctor notice? Maybe that would have helped.
All right, let's try. 12 weeks ago, I've lost the baby. What about on. So, pa.
No.
Yes.
Listen, I mean this because I've had 2 miscarriages, so I understand.
It's more than that.
I know that. And we
Don't
all
do phony with me. By the way,
Listen.
fake doesn't work with me. Like, that's just like, bring it on. Come on, bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on.
I'm done being nice. We're done. I'm ready for you to meet.
Okay, so right there is just an interesting cut. They cut to Diana sort of going like, stop with all the fake BS. As Diana's confessional is going, they cut to Sutton and she's sort of doing this little smile. They have to story tell while the confessionals are going. It's not serious, it's like she's getting flustered. We can tell she's getting flustered, but just by them cutting in that moment, we feel the flustered, we feel the haughtiness, we feel the sort of entitlement, all just from that tiny little clip.
I can forgive everything. I can't forgive being boring.
I'm not boring at
You
all.
are really boring.
That's not nice.
I just think that's so funny that she's always doing this that's not nice stuff. That seems to be Sutton's kind of go-to.
I'm just saying.
Nice. That's not nice to do.
You're not being
nice. That's not nice.
That comeback in a fight is just so, it like has no response and it's so condescending. Again, it does feel like something you'd say to a kid. That's not very nice. I would never say that to a friend because as peers, when you're talking to someone else who's presumably an adult, who's a peer, who you respect equally, you don't want to say things that are obvious. Like if someone's saying something that's really not nice, you don't really say like, well, you're not being very nice. You just literally look at them like, wow, like I can't believe I'm having a conversation with someone who doesn't recognize how they're being totally cruel and mean right now. I'm not saying she is this, but it comes off very condescending and I think it's amping Diana up. Editing a fight scene, meaning like an argument or a fight, any sort of conflict whatsoever, you're always trying to constantly heighten the scene, right? So if the conversation starts like where it did, where Sutton's kind of talking to Diana like, you know, I'm really sorry that you're on bed rest, and then it starts to kind of go into Diana says something, then Sutton says something, then Diana says something, and it's supposed to sort of heighten, or else it starts to fall flat. When you think about sort of iconic arguments and scenes, there's always sort of like a peak to it.
Don't you ever. You don't want out for everybody to know. That's me. No, you don't. Now you need to back that coming to my trap.
I'm just curious if you guys are watching and you're thinking, this fight or this argument isn't necessarily paying off the way that I would want it to. I want it to go further. I want there to be some sort of like release in this conversation, but you're just not getting it. If any of you aren't feeling that, it's just because the scene doesn't have enough for the editors to continually heighten it to that point, to that peak. Let's just keep watching.
It's not nice.
You know what I regret? You and Garcelle at the front of the boat, I was talking about my most painful memory in my life. And I was like, fake, going off.
On the boat, I really tried to open up to Sutton.
Do you have brothers
right
and
there.
sisters?
So right there, I just wanted to point something out. I think they cut her off when she said, I really tried to open up to Sutton.
I really tried to open up to Sutton.
Remember when I talked about Erika and the bad edit, or it's just the bad edit in general, and how you can't put words into someone's mouth and make them who they are on camera. But what you can do with editing is you can kind of manipulate to make the story work. Diana said, I had this, you know, I tried to open up to Sutton, and I believe if I was watching the dailies, she would have said and Garcelle. But if she said and Garcelle, it wouldn't necessarily work because it's just her and Sutton having this argument right now, and they're trying to make this argument have some weight to it, right? Have some context. Why is Diana blowing up at Sutton so much besides that Sutton is just easy to bully? Sorry, I wouldn't want to bully her, but I'm just saying she is kind of an easy target. So it's easy to poke at her, and I think that's what's going on here.
He was killed in the war, so yeah, so that.
How old is he?
He's young.
Life, right?
My dad committed suicide. When it's gone like that and you don't get to say goodbye, that's hard.
So tell me in the comments below what you guys felt about that moment, but when Diana opens up about her horrible situation that happened with her brother, and then Sutton brings up what happened to her father, another horrible situation, I didn't necessarily feel like it came off too like, oh, let me tell my story now. Now, I've definitely seen Sutton do that in the past, like hijack the conversation and start talking about her own stuff.
I've been putting out fires all day today too, but it might just be that kind of day.
But in this moment specifically, I felt like she was using it like you use it to show the other person that we have some empathy or have some experience in a similar situation. She kind of said the detail and then moved right past to the reason why she said the detail, which was to say, like, when it's gone so fast, it's very hard. It's hard to heal from it when it happens so quickly like that. But what they did, what the editors did sound-wise, so again, we talked about in the last video, we talked about how you can use music to create more drama. The sound that they put in was sort of like a knife being sharpened. Hard. I don't know if it's like a villain sound or if it's a sound of contempt. Those sound effects and stuff, they can help tell a story, just very brief moments without having the person actually say it to the camera. You can tell little stories and you can push the story forward by using sound effects, music, etc. Let's keep watching.
I'm not a fake person. I don't have fake lips. I don't have fake boobs. I don't have fake anything. I am very real. She's fake. So, okay, projection.
She's going in on Sutton.
Here we go again. This has nothing to do with editing, but with Sutton and her judgmental stuff. Like, we're not talking about boobs and lips and stuff like that right now. We're talking about personality. You can have all of the fake stuff put on you, but your personality and your character can be very real. It's just cutting on Diana because she's trying to, say that Diana's had work done and that's why she's fake and Sutton's not. If we confronted her on that moment, she'd just be like, I'm just telling the truth and defending myself. It's a weird flip that some people can do where they can take a moment that for them, they are actually in the wrong or they're doing something petty, but they can flip it and make themselves the victim in it. It's a skill. It's a skill.
What's happening?
I just told her she's boring.
What?
I'm rude. On Tiger Cell.
Well, I said you were rude because
So I am.
Dorit was trying to engage with you, and you shut her down.
Go on, take a swing at me. Go. What is the problem that you have with me?
I don't have a problem with
you.
You have a chip on your shoulder. It's got nothing to do.
Side note, I think that Diana, although she does have a little bit of this like rough and tumble, what she said is like an aggressive personality, I think this is a hard thing for her to do. I think she had a few of those, what she was ordering throughout the night, those Camparis or something. I don't even know what that was, but I think she was drinking. There was a little bit of liquid courage going in here. She's definitely doesn't seem very well versed in fighting, but acting like she is, like sort of this false confidence and, taunting and doing weird stuff. Sutton does that, but Sutton's very clear that like she's not good at confrontation. Yeah, it's just funny. Side note.
But let me tell you something. You have to understand that we're all
bacon-eating vegetarians.
Shut up with that.
What does that have to do with anything?
No, that's actually important. Diana's saying, don't say.
I'm sorry, Kyle is just cracking me up in this scene because she's doing that thing that we've all done. She's like, I think, she's been overserved. And I think Kyle is just sort of in that mode of like, I just did the splits, I'm having fun, my husband's here, I'm doing all this, and now I'm kind of in it because I want to be in the scene, and so here I am, but she's trying to put together some cohesive thoughts, and it's coming out a little bit like...
Scared for LSL with Lady Gaga and Anna Samberg. The guy that did it did my dress. Not a moment in time, not a moment happens. Every once in a while, you just know when it's right.
We've all been there when we've been possibly overserved, trying to make ourselves useful and trying to seem smart and put together. Whew.
When I first met Diana, she seemed sophisticated and worldly, but this Diana, it's not a good look. What a bitch! Where's my bag?
So Garcelle to me is someone who seems very comfortable with confrontation. And so even when she says like, it's sort of like a backhanded compliment, like when when they cut to her and she's just like, when I first met her, I thought she was sophisticated and very worldly, and now it's just not a good look, which is just another phrase for now I don't believe that anymore, which I think is hilarious. And she just is not, she's not trying to go too below the belt. She's very just like, I'm out of here, I'm leaving. Now, again, going back to this idea where you have this fight, right? And what the editors want to do is sort of heighten and heighten and heighten. And the heightening isn't really happening between Diana and Sutton. But Garcelle came over, there was a little bit of heightening, and then she left, which sort of could be, you know, sort of a peak, but it's not a peak. This fight, although I believe the intention with Diana was to kind of like have her villain moment, whether or not she wanted it or not, I believe the intention was to kind of show, you know, Diana as this, you know, force to be reckoned with or something. I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like it fell a little bit flat.
I think we're done here. You're an asshole. And
hold on.
No, she's a asshole. You know what? I've got your number.
And just that thing, like she's like, you're an a-hole, and then she like pretends like she's gonna get up. Kyle's like, no, you can't leave like that. And then she's like, oh no, she's an a-hole. And then she like does that little lean forward like she's gonna get up again, but it's like, it's just, she's not getting up. There's no like real explosion.
I've got your number.
Here.
Oh, you do. I gave it to you.
I know, I
First
got
day,
it.
I gave it to you, honey.
I see it. 8675309. Got it.
Oh, okay, we
No, I'm good. 8675309. Got it.
Okay. So I want to talk about that moment real quick. So Sutton says, you gave me your number, I got your number. Tell me in the comments if you agree with me. I believe she's doing it that figure of speech, like I got your number, meaning like I know how you roll. And Diana maybe not picking up on the you know, idioms of the phrase. She goes, yeah, I gave it to you the first day I met you, which I think is so funny that they left that in. Then Sutton says, yeah, 8675309, got it, which is like a song from the 90s. 8675309. If the point of that song was someone who has that number is a terrible person, maybe that's what her reference was, but I don't even remember that being the song, what the song was about. Anyway, the thing I wanted to point out to you guys, just from an editorial standpoint, as they cut away and they sort of show a little bit more of the scene, you hear Sutton say it again.
8675309, got it.
I think the editors took that audio.
8675309, got it.
I think they took it, duplicated it, and added it there again, but what they did was they sped it up just a slight bit to try to make it sound like she said it again and that her inflection was different. You can speed up just by 2% and it can make something sound just a little bit different.
You gotta break the rules.
Break the rules?
Yeah, you got to.
What do I have to do?
Just give me a spicy margarita like you've been feeding me all night.
Oh, I see.
Please, love, thanks. Okay, appreciate it.
Have you guys know?
Okay, so we had to cut to this little piece. Now the editors did not need to leave this in. There wasn't really anything major going on. But again, they're storytelling through tiny little bits without having to have someone talk to the camera and tell what's going on. They are storytelling again that Erika maybe is having an issue with being overserved at a lot of events. She summons the bartender. She says, you know, please break the rules. I don't know if break the rules is because it was like a certain amount of drinks that could be given, or if he's just, maybe he was walking back from the bathroom and maybe they're supposed to go up to the bar, but she's like, hey, can you bring it to me, serve it to me? I don't know what breaking the rules does, but they left in that moment, even though there were other things happening, probably they put in that moment, again, storytelling, pushing Erika's storyline forward without her having to just speak to the camera or have anyone else speak to the camera and talk about maybe what they're seeing her go through. We just use a tiny little clip to push that storyline forward.
Oh my God, Erika, calm down, girl, calm down.
Thank you very much. Sweetheart, you're lovely.
I told you so. I mean, where did that come from? I don't think Erika's ever told me so.
So then we get two little more moments of Erika when the bartender does bring that drink and gives that desperation, I love you. There's a little bit of shame and guilt in there, I believe, too. She kind of closes her eyes. Through editing, I just know when you see a lot of this stuff over and over, when you see people's expressions change, you know, between takes and stuff like that, after, you know, the camera goes down, you kind of just see moments. So I just see that in Erika. I don't even know if she knew the camera was really on her, but you just see this moment. And again, that's storytelling, pushing the storyline forward. And then they cut to her and Dorit taking sips of their drinks. I don't know, there's like a desperation quality to drinking these margaritas. I don't think she has a problem or anything like that, but this is part of the storyline that I've seen them coming up for her this season, that she's imbibing often. And so they've got to show it. They have to build that story.
They're still at it over there.
Oh,
Diana,
that's
Sutton,
all right.
and Kyle.
Let them be at it.
So
Go back with your passive-aggressive ridiculous.
Oh no, I'm aggressive.
Go back to your texting.
Okay, they're still in this conversation, and that's why if maybe you watched this fight and you felt like it fell a little bit flat. Sorry, I'm just talking about fights falling flat. I know I just talked about Candy and Kenya and how their fight had to be heightened with music a little bit. I'm actually really loving the seasons of Beverly Hills and Atlanta right now, but I just feel like maybe the drama isn't quite there. And like in this little fight between them, it's like two people, I believe, who just don't like confrontation, aren't very comfortable with it, don't know how to flip a table to end it, don't know how to heighten it. Us as an audience kind of can deflate a little bit as they're showing. They're still at it and they're just sitting there, like kind of sometimes not even looking at each other. It's kind of like when two kids get in a fight and then they're sort of like, okay, like after a couple seconds, and then they're back at it and then they're okay. Can you tell I have little kids and that's all I see all day long? Yes, okay.
I'm the only one that's
I actually don't think it was passive. It was very like bamboo.
Yeah, but you can't respond to a text that says, oh, when, I'm in bed rest. And then,
Is that what it sounded to you?
Oh, yes, I did. God,
I feel bad for the editors in this moment because they're trying to make this scene a little bit like Diana's come out, her villain moment. She even says at the end of the episode, you know, if you want another villain, here I am. I'm not getting very villain vibes from it. It's not doing this. I don't feel any fear from either of them. What the editors are trying to do is they're trying to make it heighten, right? They're trying to cut back and forth and have them do these cutting things. I'm sure there was so much garbage and boring stuff that was cut out of this scene to create this particular argument and try to make something of it. But I do feel bad for the editors because it's just not layering the way that it should, and it has nothing to do with the editors. I really hope that you guys are enjoying these. I have like 45 subscribers. I can't even believe it, you guys. All I'm doing is just talking about the stuff I love. Subscribe to the channel. I love my housewives. I'm going to continue breaking down scenes that I see. And if you have any scenes that you're like, oh my gosh, I want you to break this down, please send them to me. Thank you guys again, and until next time.
In a moment in time, that moment happens. Every once in a while, you know, you just know when it's right.